Well, welcome everyone to the March Networking and Education part of the series. Today, JT Booth from Federated will be talking to us, and I'll let him introduce the topic. For those of you who have not participated before, we'll do some short breakout rooms, and then we'll give JT some time to talk about the topic and leave time for questions at the end. This will be recorded, and so those who were not able to attend today can find all of the recordings on our website. There's a new page for all of these educational videos. So they'll be there and on our YouTube channel. So JT, thank you for being here today.
So the topic for today is something that every business in America is struggling with, and they will be struggling with it in the future, whether they realize it or not. What you can do to protect your business from the courtrooms in America, from litigation against your company because of an at-fault accident. Some of the things that we're going to talk about in here, it gets kind of graphic, but it makes it real. And I'm going to use real life examples of a claim and what they put that business owner through in depositions as well as in the courtroom, and talk through that with you and give you some scenarios and show you some ways that you can really protect your business, protect your employees, as well as protect everything that you and your family have personally worked for your whole lives. So that's what I'm going to be covering. Has come up about letting company employees drive their vehicles home, and how do you regulate that on the weekends, or what are some of the things that you can do? We've talked about the driving policy. One thing I wanted to make sure that everyone knows is if you are a corporation, make sure that your minutes are up to date. You're current with the Secretary of State's website. You are actually recording your annual meetings, and everything is up to date, because the concept that we're talking about here is what's called blood in the water. If you get put on notice after one of your employees is involved in an accident, someone passes away as a result of that, or even if they're maimed because of that, what's going to happen is they're going to subpoena your commercial auto policy. They're going to check your limits. They're going to say, how much can we get from their commercial auto policy? How much can we get from their commercial umbrella? Then they're going to look at your corporate minutes. Are your corporate minutes up to date? So if your corporate minutes are not up to date, then there is no protection from the corporate veil, because you have not kept up to date with what you need to be doing. So then the protection of a corporation goes out the window. So if that is not in place, now all of a sudden they're looking at your personal assets, because if they can pierce that corporate veil, there's no protection from the corporation side. You and everything you have, all investments, all personal assets, can be liquidated. They can come after everything, just like you were a sole proprietor. That's why those are so important. I think that was all the questions that I had sent in there. Does that make sense to everyone?
So JT, you're it's basically saying if you're not acting like a corporation, you're not a corporation.
If you're not acting like a corporation, the court is not going to treat you like a corporation.
Right. It's not going to protect you. So it's not going to protect you for the reason you are a corporation or a limited partnership or limited liability corporation or whatever.
So that's it. And one thing I would tell you is, if any of the members of PHCC have, over the years, we talked about things that you meant to do and didn't get to it, and we can all get caught up in our day-to-day responsibilities. If any of your members are having issues getting that corporate book up to date and need help doing so, let me know. We're happy to help them get that up to date and make sure the corporations are protected. That's an easy fix. So protecting your business, you hold the keys. Okay.
Yep.
So there's probably some people on here who have seen this presentation. There may be some who have not. What I want to do is just talk through this thing at a very high level. What we're going to cover today are things that all of you know. All I want to do is bring those to the front of your mind to protect your companies and make you think about the plans that you have in place. That is my total goal here. So we're going to talk about some of the previous initiatives that Federated has done. We've done a ton of them. You Hold the Keys is what the name of this presentation is about. We're going to talk about what happens after tragedy hits your business and things you can do to avoid it or try to be ready for that. So previous initiatives, there are, like I said, there are lots and lots of them. And any Federated marketing rep can get your hands on any of these that you would like to have. But there's all of them together. Quite an inventory or a library of topics to talk about with business owners. I'm going to try to play this video, and I'm hoping this will play. But you know, we do everything we can to try to minimize that risk. Now, the topic came up about front and rear facing cameras. So this is a business owner trying to do everything correctly and install front and rear facing cameras. Now, if this plays, you guys just give me a thumbs up and let me know everything's good. So does anybody realize how quickly that happened?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yep. So this business owner installed front and rear facing cameras, trying to protect his business and do what was right. Now, you know, Rob, I think you said you were looking at installing these in your vehicles. Is that correct?
That is correct. In fact, we looked at Lytics.
Okay.
Or looking at Lytics and have looked at others. So.
Okay. So Lytics is a great program. This business owner tried to do everything the right way, just like you're talking about. He had a driver who failed to comply with his corporate driving policy, and that's what it boiled down to. But that was actually a tractor trailer truck trying to pass on a 2-lane highway. And there's a lot of those in North Carolina that looked very familiar, but trying to make that truck go around 2 or 3 cars is a bad deal, as you just saw. Now, I can't tell you how big that suit was. I didn't have the exact numbers from that one, but that was not a cheap one. But what I do want to show you is what we call nuclear verdicts. Some of you who have been on board meetings in the past with me, you always hear me talking about nuclear verdicts. This just shows you some of the figures. These are actual claims that have been paid. And I mean, if you take a look at this, distracted by a mobile device, insured strayed from their lane, causing them to strike and kill a state highway worker on the shoulder of a freeway, 10 million. Insured vehicle broke down on the highway, causing dense smoke to obscure traffic, resulting in an accident that killed another driver and seriously injured their spouse, $13.5 million. Take a long, hard look, folks. I don't know what kind of insurance program you have in place. I don't know what kind of commercial umbrella you have in place to protect your business. But $13.5 million is probably going to close some doors and hand them the keys to everything that you've worked for your whole life. So this is why this is so serious to us. This is something that you can access being part of our association. Is we can get you the information to have this meeting with your personnel at your business. We can go through setting up the meeting for you, talking you through how to have this with new employees and everything that you can do as far as a policy and procedure standpoint to ensure that your people are being safe and that your business is protected. When tragedy strikes, the scenario of this one is that, pardon me for this, but there's a video that goes with this that actually shows the company in depositions and shows them on the stand being deposed. But that video won't play very well in a Zoom format. It's made to do in front of people live. So the gist of it is this. You have a technician driving a company vehicle, has his cruise control set on 70 miles an hour, cruising down the road. And these two ladies are in a vehicle that is stopped, turning left with a blinker on, getting ready to turn on a side street. The technician never checks up. He never hits the brakes. When he makes impact with the back of the vehicle, his tires are still spinning at 70 miles an hour. He was found to be on his phone at the time of the impact. And the worst part is he had been on his phone long before that, because he had 15 seconds to hit the brakes. He was on a straightaway and had 15 seconds of drive time to slow down. Both of these ladies were killed on impact. So the video will show you that they drag this company over the coals and they rip apart their driving policy, because everything in this driving policy is a suggestion. It's not a mandate. They ask that their employees make every effort, a reasonable effort, to pull over and take a call on the side of the road, or ask them not to do something. Folks, when it's your business on the line, and if it's my business on the line, I'm not going to ask anyone to do anything. I'm going to tell them, here's what I expect. You're driving my company cars and you're representing my family and my name. I take this stuff pretty serious, and I hope you do too. But two ladies lost their lives that day, and that family will never be the same. Let's see if this video actually plays. Let's see here. Can somebody just give me a thumbs up if this plays?
We can see the video, but it doesn't seem like we have sound.
Okay. So the audio is not going to work in the Zoom format. So what I can do is I can get with you later and I can present this live and let people see the video. So I told you the details of the case. What you were going to see there was the actual technician being deposed. So take yourself out of this for a minute. You're the business owner. You have everything to lose here. That technician doesn't have as much skin in the game as you, or your company, or your family, or your business reputation in the community. They're the ones who are going to be deposed by counsel. They're going to be ripped apart. And they may or may not make it favorable on you, but your driving policies will. If you do things the right way, they will protect you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what this is about is, what's going to be the verdict on your policies? When you come under fire, are your policies going to save you in a courtroom? If you have a question about it, I know all of the reps in North Carolina, and they are some of the most upstanding professional people I've ever worked with, and they will lead you the right way, and they will help you put these policies in place. And it's at no cost to you. We just want to help your people be safe and help your company survive if something like this happens. We can get you the information on those front and rear facing cameras. We can get you the analytics formatted programs to keep track real time of any MVR infractions. Someone gets a DUI on a Friday, you're notified immediately. It doesn't wait to hit their MVR. We will let you know what's going on immediately with your personnel. If you want banners or signs to put up at your business, we're happy to do that for you. You can see here the different versions that we have. We have stickers that go in trucks. We just want to remind people at the end of the day, they're more than a number. They're more than just an employee. They're a part of your business family, and they are a part of a family at home who depends on them every day and every night to come home. And that's what this is all about. It's protecting people, protecting your business. So does anyone have any questions for me? If not, thank you for your time.
I had one.
Yeah.
Does this even apply to non-company vehicles if somebody's on the clock? I've heard I'm still liable as an owner.
If they are on the clock, I would take you back to think of it this way. They're driving a personal vehicle. They're on the clock. If they're on the clock, they're under whose supervision? Who are they supposed to be with that day? They're supposed to be with their employer. So if they are driving a personal vehicle under your care, they're going somewhere at the direction of their employer, yes, the employer can be held liable. It's going to get down into policy wording, how some policies are set up. I'm not going to go too far down in the weeds with it right now, but what you need to know is during working hours, if you have an employee on the road, no matter if they're in a company truck or if they're in their car, but they're acting at your discretion and your direction that you've pointed them in, you need to be careful. And if you haven't reached out to your rep in the area, I highly suggest you do that to help get those policies set up.
10-4. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all for your time.